Okay, guys, let's get to the In the Gym segment with John and Marty. Today, we're going to talk about how to train. Is it 3-day split, 5-day split, full body split? What do you train? How do you know how to train? When you sit down and plan your workout, do you call John? Do you call Marty? Do you do it yourself? Do you pick up an app? Do you do a smart app? How do you know how to train your body? This episode of In the Gym with John and Marty for the next 10 minutes is going to give you guys some things to think about as you plan your week, you plan your day. Or do you do the same workout every Monday like we joked with International Bench Press Day? So I'm going to get off the stage for a few minutes with Christina. John and Marty are going to come up with In the Gym segment talking about how to plan your training regimen with Marty Fit and John Anderson. And before we leave that, we're going to say ARM. Hey, everyone. Hope all's well with y'all. As always, stay strong and stay smiling. Have an awesome day, ARM. Let's get out of here, Flinner. Let's put John and Marty on the stage and do some In the Gym with John and Marty. Boom.
Let's get it.
Let's go, baby. I think we got to open this topic. I think we got to open this topic by just looking at like the way that we work as human beings. We crawl before we walk, before we run. And so when we're talking about a workout, creating something for yourself that's going to be effective, you've got to basically start with the basics. Let's make sure that let's just say you're going to do a 3-day workout routine every other day. Maybe you're going to do a whole body, just whipping through, but you show up to that 3 days. And once you ice that 3 days, now you're crawling. You're not just a baby slobbering on the ground anymore. You can actually get up on all fours and you can get from point A to point B. And once you've gotten good enough at that, then that baby's going to find a coffee table. He's going to try to pull himself up and stand on his feet, on his 2 feet. That's you've nailed down the 3-dayer. You're wanting a little more. The showing up part's not a problem. Okay. Then develop into a different routine. But I think that the basis for this whole conversation needs to be that you have to understand that you've got to be able to get the showing up part nailed down and the getting the work in, and then start to build off of that, because that is the foundation. The showing up is the foundation. So remember, you don't come out of the womb running, sprinting. You come out of the womb and you're on your belly. You got to literally crawl, then walk, then run. And creating a workout routine is going to be very similar in terms of the different types of progression. What do you think, Marty?
No, absolutely. And I think one thing people need to realize is there's no right way. So everybody, whether that's the bodybuilder, whether that's the athlete, whether that's the mom trying to get her work in, everybody who's been successful in fitness, they have their way of doing it. You have to find what works for you. All right. Just because John does International Chest Day, or maybe you don't. I do.
No,
I do international. I do international chest day.
I tend to veer away. You know what? The things that people tend to do, I don't want to be in that line.
Okay.
I
do it, John. My bad, John. Okay, I do it. But just because I do it doesn't mean you have to do it. You might It might be better for you to hit your push day on Thursday or Friday. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, you got to develop your foundation and you got to stick to it. Just like John said, it's more about showing up and sticking to it over, well, I did the same 5-day split as this guy. It's not about that. But let's get a little practical, John. What does your split look like? Now, I know you said you don't do the same muscle every day for every week.
Yeah.
But what does your split look like?
Here's the thing. I'll be happy to explain what I do, but it's so advanced and it's based upon reading signals of my body, which is what I teach to people. And when you read the signals of your body and you give your body what it wants, it's going to respond really well. Ultimately, I know that I'm going to train 5 days a week. I love to train. And I know there's certain muscle groups that I'm going to hit in that week. And how I go about my rest days and even how I go about doing what muscle groups I'm going to hit is purely, and I take inventory, so to speak, on my body. And I'm like, okay, like perfect example, when I do, say, a squat or a deadlift workout, because I'll flip those. I won't do them both in the same week. I know that delayed soreness is going to come, that if I do it on, say, a Wednesday, a Friday is when it's going to hit me the hardest. So what I'll do in many cases is I'll actually go to my back workout the next day, because I know that I'm going to be able to get that back workout in, and I'm going to basically be able to pay the consequence of all the delayed soreness as a group between the two. But that's also based upon my back feeling like it can handle that. If I was to, let's just say, at a barn burner of a squat workout, and I'm like, well, the back's not going to handle that I'm not going to do that week. Yeah. So I guess when it comes down to it, I think from a practical standpoint, I don't know that me talking about the way I do it would be the most practical, because it's very go off feel. But I
Yeah.
think from a practical standpoint, if someone wants to make sure that they're going to make some progress in terms of building muscle, I think what you got to realize is hitting a muscle fairly hard once a week is going to be really the way to go. Now, that being said, you're going to have an extra bicep workout in your pull-ups. You're going to have an extra tricep workout in your dips. So programming your arms more than once a week. A lot of times people like to train arms more than once a week because they want big arms. They're going to get a lot of secondary work in those bigger movements. And I know we talk a lot about compound movements. So I would definitely say use your compound movements to your advantage.
Definitely. So, I mean, what someone can take away from that is listen to your body. If some people might want to do it your way. So I think that was good. Shinku Gold says the gym is daily. If one part is too sore, I do something else. There's always something to do. That's exactly what you said.
Exactly, 100%. So that's a perfect example that I'm glad people are catching on to that, because making good progress when it comes to training is not just blindly executing. Granted, in the beginning, if you're just trying to work on showing up, blindly execute. But once you get to be a little bit more advanced, you start to listen.
And Billy Pollitt says, have either of you ever overworked yourself? Is it even a thing? The answer is yes to that for myself. Weeks where I've gone maybe 6 days or worked out 7 days, your body's going to feel it. You try to go hard every day. So now I do 5 days. I'm taking 2 days of rest, and it's non-negotiable at this point. And it's not an all-out kill yourself every day. Johnny said it a couple weeks ago, like, some days you should still have some energy when you leave the gym. So my workouts are efficient, but I'm not necessarily killing myself every day because I want to get back the next day and still be able to have an efficient workout. How about yourself, Johnny?
Yeah, that's 100%. When it comes down to it, the only thing that you should really kill is the habit of showing up.
Yeah.
Because getting there is the biggest challenge for most people. And so on that level, to answer the question a little deeper, if you're not one of these people that's showing up religiously, the odds of you getting overtrained is very slim. Those random days off, whether it's maybe you were lazy, maybe work went over, who knows what it was, but those random days off are going to most likely keep you from getting overtrained. So is overtraining a real thing? If you've got the habit of showing up, guaranteed getting the work in, then that's something that you should consider. But if you're not owning showing up, you can leave the whole principle for another day when you have the showing up part handled.
Yeah. And some days you can just do an active recovery day if you don't necessarily want to take the whole day off. How you feel about active recovery, John?
I think that's great. When it's a day off, I don't do nothing. I just don't lift heavy shit. And so I think that's really important. But you said something early in this talk that we should make sure that we focus on a few practical things as we finish this segment. So I think for you guys, when it comes down to it, we want to put on some muscle, which most people do, go and you're going to work a body part once a week. And I think if you just keep it really simple, if you do 3 exercises, get really good warmed up for each exercise, 3 exercises, 3 sets each. It's only 9 sets, but that's going to be a good way to build some muscle. Now, if you're really good with your nutrition, you can bump that up and you can be doing more like 5 sets per. But generally speaking, when it comes down to it, people don't have the nutrition to support these really long workouts. So keeping it simple, keeping it effective is going to get you what you want.
Absolutely.
It's sore.
Can't hear you, Keith. Oh, I hear you now.
And Shinku Gold says, if everything is sore, do some cardio. Marty, I guess you can always go for a walk, brother.
Always. And that's part of the active recovery we were talking about. So that's a great idea. That's good, Shinku Gold.
Yeah, there you go. So hey, in the gym with John and Marty, every single day at this time, we go at that 9:15 Eastern time, 50 minutes of unalterated, exceptional conversation with John and Marty. Knowledge and experience you're not going to get anywhere else except for mornings in the lab, 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday, the only live morning show to help you guys get your day started, get your ass out of bed, and help you guys get going.